My name is Augustine Walkel. I'm the Executive Manager for Operations for WWF South Africa, and I'll be one of your program directors for today. Some house rules. The bathrooms are in the foyer, which I'm sure most of you have found. There is a security plan for the venue has asked that we just mention a few things. Number one is that please keep your valuables close. There are conference criminals, as they are now becoming called. So they arrive in the conference and they pretend they're delegates and they happily snatch things as they go along. Please keep your things close. They are not easy to detect. And then secondly, in the event of an emergency evacuation, there will be a PA announcement and they'll ask you to exit through the doors, and the first rally point is in the car park through the main door that you've come through. Now about the design of the event. This event is designed for you to participate, which means you do not switch off your phone. Please keep it on silent. The purpose of you keeping your phone on is that we need you to tweet. This amplifies the event, so it's not just about the people sitting in the room that are participating, but people outside as well. All your friends, all your followers, all the guys that are talking about the parties happening this weekend, get them involved in the conversation. And how you do that is by asking them questions. Engage with them while you're sitting and listening to us, while you are thinking differently, listening to our speakers. The hashtag is not up, but is there. So it's hashtag LPC 2017 or hashtag waste to wealth. There is a team at the back that will be tracking those hashtags, and as you post, they'll be putting it up on the screens as well. As you posting your thoughts, your comments, your thinking, and your change, and your views on the topic. We want you to listen deeply. I said this in the beginning. Try and engage with what's being said rather than coming with a preconceived understanding. And this is really why we have and why you are sitting in this audience today. Outside we have video booths as well. You may have noticed them and you may have sort of taken a wide walk around them. Please don't walk into them. And it's your opportunity. I think you get 30 seconds to a minute where you can just leave a message. And we'll be using those messages in social media content afterwards. We'll be taking your messages and making them public under the LPC hashtags and banners. Finally, this is also the third Living Planet Conference at the Maslow Hotel, and we'd like to thank Sun International for this wonderful opportunity to be hosted for a third time, and to say thanks. It's not easy for an NGO to be able to be accommodated and to afford a place as wonderful as the Maslow, and we thank you once again for such a wonderful opportunity. And to that end, I'd like to invite Mr. Anthony Leeming, the CEO of Sun International, to say a few words to welcome us to the event. Can you please help me welcome Anthony Leeming?
Hi, good morning. I was asked to try and talk for quite long because I think our honoured guest, Pravin Gordon's not arrived. Unfortunately, I haven't prepared, but he is here. Welcome. Fantastic. So I'll be quick then, Morné. Former Finance Minister, Pravin Gordon, Sun International Chairman and Chairman of WWF, Mr. Vali Musa, WWF Directors, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Maslow. The WWF is one of the world's largest and most respected independent conservation organizations, with almost 6 million supporters and a global network in over 100 countries. We are extremely proud to be associated and the support of the WWF and to be the host sponsor of the conference for the third year. The focus of this year's conference resonates well with Sun International, as it is the small parts that each individual and company needs to play towards reducing the impacts of climate change. We, like many others, have been directly impacted by climate change, in particular with the current drought in the Western Cape and last year in KwaZulu-Natal, where we had to bring water into our property as we could not operate and we had no water from the municipality. For some time now, Sun International has been on what we termed a climate change journey. Although we have done a lot of good work over the past few years, and continue to do so, we find that it is more about the small things, making sure that our lights are turned off, aircon's off when no one's around, and making sure that all our employees can play a part in climate change. As a result, we're making sure all our employees understand the impacts and the difference that they can make. Thank you for attending today, and I hope that you enjoy our hospitality and have a rewarding and enjoyable conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Leeming, for welcoming us to the event and to your venue. And now I would like to ask Dr. Morley du Plessis, CEO of WWF South Africa, for a few opening welcoming comments.
Good morning, honored guests. Thank you very much for coming to this conference. It's wonderful to see such an excellent turnout, and we hope that you will be richly rewarded by having set aside the time to be with us this morning. We also welcome many people who are not in this room. This conference is being live streamed. So there are many more people who are participating than what we have in this room. And I think this is part of what we trialed last year in moving into the future. The people in the audience comprise a mix. I wish to specifically welcome the WWF board members. They are trustees of WWF. That's a broader group of supporters of WWF. There are many of our corporate partners, but perhaps the most honored guests are many of you who are students in the environmental field, in finance, economics, with an interest in environmental and developmental issues. And that's the kind of material that we're dealing with here, the kind of audience. And you will see through the contributions today that there'll be significant inputs, none of which it's completely unfiltered. And we look forward to the kind of debates that come out of this conversation. Organizations such as WWF in the environmental sector often struggle to dispel the myth that sustainable development and environmental sustainability are at odds with one another. They're very much one and the same thing. Sustainable development is about sustainability, and that includes the sustainability of the natural resource base that sustains humanity, and therefore an organization such as WWF wishes to constantly remind people that we not fall into the trap of the false dichotomy, but rather that we use it as a platform from which to speak about the significant developmental needs that we have in South Africa. Business is a very big partner of WWF, but so is government. And in this respect, it's important that also in relation to decisions that are made, that wise decisions are made and that there's good, clean governance. And it's in that sense that it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to our guest speaker today, who my board chair said that if I said anything to introduce him, I would diminish from what he has to say. So Pravin Gordhan, welcome to this conference, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say to us.